Hi there, hey there, ho there. We're as happy as can be. Another week.
Yes.
Another session of Three Ball Walk. Lots to talk about in Major League Baseball. We're a month and a half in. We've had 3 no-hitters. Albert Pujols gets his 300th game. Matt Adams, 3,000th hit.
Yeah. He's played 300.
Matt Adams, hot as can be.
Yep, former Brave.
We talked about the Dodgers, how much better they've played the last couple of years without Kershaw. Can they do it without Corey Seager as well? And a lot of things. But let's talk about, and I know you guys, because not yet. No, we'll do that probably second
that's a
part
tease
of the thing.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Here's the tease.
Okay.
And we're in Gainesville.
Yep.
And most of our viewership, of the thousands of you, are big Gator fans, because or else you probably wouldn't know this.
Yep.
We're going to talk Gator baseball, but right now we're going to talk about former Gator baseball.
Okay.
Mike Zunino.
Pretty good guy. Yep.
You know, took him a while.
Yep.
Guy that came up, had a great second half last year. Starts the year on the DL, finally comes off of it about 2 weeks ago. Already hit his 5th home run last night.
Wow, I didn't see that.
Okay. And on top of that, caught a no-hitter.
Yep.
And that's what they say, the way he receives and everything, you know. And we'll start with that.
What
Mariners.
You caught a no-hitter.
He caught
It's a pretty big deal.
That's a big deal.
Is he calling the no-hitter too? Is he
He's
calling the pitches?
it. Sure he is.
Okay. All right. Then we'll give him some credit.
Charles Johnson caught 5 no-hitters in his career, more than any other major league catcher in history. At least that was as of about, I don't know if it's...
Well, I don't know anybody else that's caught 5, so...
5 no-hitters.
That works.
That's amazing. But with Zunino, the Mariners, the AL West, do you realize that the Yankees and Red Sox are the only 2 teams in the American League that have less losses than the Mariners? Who started the year with 2 second basemen with Cano and D. Gordon, and we were cracking about them not being able to do.
Yep.
Now, they're in 3rd place a game out because, and it's funny.
They don't have as many wins either.
The 2 teams they're behind don't have, you know, one has as many losses. The team in 1st place actually has 1 more loss.
Right.
But the point is, what?
I know how it works, but it makes no logical sense that you can...
They played 38 games. The Mariners have only played 34.
Exactly. Why 4 difference? Is that many rainouts?
It could be the way
Not
the schedule
Seattle.
falls. I mean,
Not in Seattle.
you never know. The whole point is, Houston, the Angels, Seattle, all bunched up there.
Yeah.
And that's probably right now. And then I want to say Oakland is at 500. Okay. The Central's got no one at 500.
No. The Central's beating up on
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have anybody.
Toronto's at 19 and 17, which is only the 3rd team that's above 500 in the East. So right now, is the West the best division in the American League, Eddie?
Define, what are you using to determine what's best? The most competitive or the division with the better teams?
Well, whichever one you want. The most competitive?
Most competitive, yes, clearly. I mean,
Well, and then the division with the better team, then that's a clearly yes too.
No, it's not.
They have the World Series champions.
It's not. That's not necessarily so.
Is the World Series champion the best team in baseball?
No, not right now. I don't think so.
No.
I think if you take the last 2 weeks, you'd have to say
No.
the Yankees are the best team in baseball. The last 2 weeks since we did the last show. If we're going by the last show, now if we're doing the whole year, we'll wait and see how it plays out. Maybe Houston will be the better team, but I still think this year.
You have a 7-game series right now between the Astros and the Yankees?
Yankees win.
Yankees.
Right now?
Yep.
Right now?
Right now.
If they play right now, Yankees win.
The Yankees still have some bullpen issues they have to address. I watched them the other night, and Matanzas gave it up. It was terrible.
But you know, the good thing is they don't play that 7-game series right now.
Right, exactly.
They play in October, and
how many? And in their own division, how many games ahead of the Red Sox are they right now?
Well, they're even.
They're even.
That's what I'm
So how
saying.
good are the Red Sox?
As good. I think either one of those teams right now
Is better than Houston.
is better than Houston.
I do too.
But I don't think necessarily they will be by the time October comes around. You have to wait and see who gets hurt, who makes the trades.
Are all 3 of those teams in the playoffs?
Yes. I
Are
would
those
say.
the 3 most gimmies that you can have in the American League?
I think so. I think those.
Cleveland.
No.
No, they're tough, but a lot is your competition you're playing against.
Yeah, but Minnesota's only a half game back from Cleveland, so
Is Cleveland going to play a better last 125 games than Minnesota?
I don't think so. Who
Really?
knows?
Okay.
Who knows? I mean, who knows? That whole division might be the first time in history that you have a whole division finish under 500,
Under 500. Yep.
unless somebody gets hot.
The Central never did with Cincinnati, St.
Oh, I don't know. I was just making that up.
I want to say
Cincinnati was in the
a
West.
few years ago. What?
Oh, a few years ago. Okay, I'm thinking
A
about
few
that.
years ago, I remember
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
that division was bad.
We'll have to look that up and get back to you. But I did not look that up. But if that has happened, I would be surprised if the division winners ever finish below. We'll look it up.
We'll have it at the break. We'll have it for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Yankees,
Yeah.
you say bullpen issues. What makes them so good?
They can flat out hit when Stanton gets going. And we talked about Stanton, who would go through his slumps and the Yankee fans would hate him, and then he would get red hot and the Yankee fans would love him. And he's hot right now.
He's got 9 home runs, and and I looked it up. This at the end of May last year, he only had 14 home runs. So I mean, he's right on the same group. Because
Well, it's colder.
later in the year, he when he really heated up.
Well, it's colder. It's colder in
Sure.
New York, so
Way colder than-
ball's not going to carry as much as it does in Miami this part of the season, so it's not
He's
surprising.
not getting as many as at bats because something the Marlins never did. The Yankees dropped him in the order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they won't be.
That'll
He won't be there
That'll
long.
change. Yeah, that'll change. Yeah, you got Judge and Sanchez, and I mean, their Yankees are. I mean, but look at the Red Sox. I mean, Mookie Betts is tearing it up right now. He's leading the league in average and home runs. I mean, they're.
He's got 2-3 homer games.
Yeah, he's
Not bad.
That's 2-3 homer games already
Not
in a
bad.
month
Who had the 6-hit game yesterday, or a couple days
for the
ago?
Astros. Springer.
Springer had 6 hits.
Yep,
and
6
they were
hits.
In a 9-inning game.
A 9-inning game.
statistically, it's less likely to get 6 hits than it is 3 home runs.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because you don't get
You usually don't get 6 at bats.
in a 9-inning game.
It's sad to say. I mean, and we can talk about the National League later, but I've seen more Yankee games and more Astro games this year on television than I have the Braves.
Yeah.
Because that's what they show. I can't afford the package. That's what they show on television all the time.
And going back to Zunino Gator baseball, which is what I wanted to do, a little college baseball, and you read the national things, and the Gators are unanimous #1 all across the board, and all you read in the comments are people saying Stanford, 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 and you look, they've only lost 6 games. The Gators have lost 11. Last night did you watch the game last night?
I did. I actually did watch the game last night.
And
All of it.
USF, they must really be bad because they can't be like UNF, Jacksonville, Gulf Coast, every other Florida school that beats Florida in the media, except FSU, obviously. They can't
beat Florida anyway.
But all the other ones
They're
did.
25th in the country.
USF?
Or 22nd.
They jumped out to the 6-0 lead,
Couldn't hold them.
and the Gators came back.
They're 24th. South Florida's 24th in the last RPI polls. In the RPI poll. So the RPI poll, Florida's #1.
Stanford's 2?
Stanford's 2, North Carolina 3. If they, I did the work on that one. If they played the regionals and super regionals today, if everything went
Where
chalk,
one plays 16.
one play 16. If the chalk right now, if everybody won, you'd have UF and ECU, Eastern Carolina. And people will go, wait a minute. Then you got Stanford playing UK. That would be a good series. UK can pitch it and they can flat show a hit. They can break.
Yep.
So that would be an interesting, and that would be on the West Coast. Then you got North Carolina and
then you would probably wind up, Kentucky's at what, 15?
15.
That makes Kentucky, so they would probably wind up sending Louisville there.
No, Louisville's not even in it. No. Oh, you mean for the
In the
regional?
regional.
Oh, for the regional. I'm not talking. If it all
Because that's the one thing about being 16, 15, 14, they're going to give you someone really good.
and then you got FSU would play at Oregon State, which would be nice that they would not come here.
In the first round?
In the second round. If they,
Is FSU in the top 16 now?
yeah, FSU is like number RPI number 9.
I didn't know that. I thought FSU was probably going to be about 17, 18, 19.
No, they're
And
10.
it would be,
They're 10 in the RPI right now. If you just went by the RPI, which is the big number.
okay.
So if you go by that, then that would be the way it would stretch out. And then let's see who's 16. Let me check the stat sheet here. East Carolina 16 and North Carolina State 17. You got to go a long way.
See, I'll give you one ranking wise, and you've got
Louisville's
East Carolina.
I don't think they're going to play UK at 37.
No. Okay, here's one right. Well, they could be
They
the
could.
3 seed
They
in
could
that
be the 3
region.
seed in that region.
And I'll give you the 2 seed, if they went by rankings, the 2 seed at East Carolina would be NC State. Guess what? NC State's not losing a regional at East Carolina.
Probably not.
I don't know about that. East Carolina.
North Carolina was 4th in the country in rankings about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
They wound up getting swept by North Carolina, and they took a huge plummet, which you have one bad weekend, but
Well, that's what
North
happens.
Carolina State's a good team.
They are a good team, but East Carolina is a good team. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not a good team in that aspect. You get 2 good pitchers, and you can hit enough, and in a regional, you can get there if you're the 1 seed. Because you're going to play a 4 seed in the first game. You're not going to throw
Who's at 30? Who's at 31, 32, 33? Because that's probably should be the 2 seed in the number 1 region.
I don't watch college baseball as much as you guys do. How hard is it when you get into the tournament, compared to basketball? You play more games, obviously, in a tournament, but how hard is it to progress through the tournament if you don't get the right draw?
Well, it's baseball in that you're as good as that day's starting pitcher.
Correct.
So you can get upset, but
It's
one
your
starting pitcher isn't going to do it for you.
It's your depth, and that's what happens with the 3 and 4 seeds. Is they usually run out of pitching on the last day when you got to play 2 games.
And they'll pull some upsets, and all of a sudden, wow, look who's going to come out of that region, and all of a sudden they get beat 15-2 and 14-3, and they're done.
Right.
And the final game, the number 1 seed comes back. If the number 1 seed comes in, win. And sometimes the 2 seed might be better than the 1 seed, but they don't have the facilities to host, and they don't put in the bid to host.
And they don't, and oftentimes the 1 seed thinks they can get by with that first game.
That's right. They try to
So
squeeze
they
by.
save a pitcher, while the 2 seed is playing usually someone tough, and they've got to burn a pitcher. So then if they both win, all of a sudden the 1 seed's coming in with their number 1 guy, while the 2 seed's got.
So when you look at a team like Florida, like Brady Singer and all the guys that they have, that obviously benefits them through the
Well,
tournament.
sure,
absolutely.
except for one huge thing.
So number
Of
3 starter.
Florida, the number 3 starter.
It's
And
not
I
been
think
good.
right now, and the national media is in love with Florida.
They are.
And they're like, oh, and until they lose a series, because they can win 2 out of 3. But for a month now, Florida has not had a number 3 starter.
And
They tried him last night.
And he didn't do well. He lost
And
it
Who was
again.
the last one?
Dyson.
Dyson, he got pulled out of the Sunday number 3.
Okay.
So he's been kind of a relief. And now, okay, it's USF, decent team, let's start Dyson.
I thought that was a mistake because UCF.
3 walks,
USF is
2
a good team.
hits, 1/3 of an inning. Didn't even make it out
4
of
runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 31 is UCLA. 32 is Missouri. 33 is UCF. So it's likely UCF would be here as the number 2 seed.
Well, UCLA is going to get a host. UCLA nationally ranked is about 6th or 7th right now.
No.
Or is it I see. I get mine. Is it UCLA in softball that's like?
Yes, UCLA in softball is number 1. We can talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But because it's getting closer to that time. But anyway, so that's where it would go today. And Gator baseball, you know, they hit well. They hit well enough last night. They're hitting way more home runs. And another year stronger. You know, those guys last year hit 220 and won the national championship. And I don't think they're going to hit 220 this year. I think they're going to hit a little above 220 in the postseason.
But I don't think
But
they're
I don't
going
know
to
if they
get
got
the
the
3
number 3
starters.
starters. So they're going to have to hit like they did last night. They're going to have to win some of those games where they actually outslug the other teams. And this team has shown the fact that sometimes it gets in a place where it can't hit well against certain starters. And
But that's anyone.
yeah, it is.
And those guys, when they get Singer, as bad as their number 3 situation is right now,
Their number 1, 2 is really good.
and getting better.
1, 2 is not going to give up a whole lot of runs. So you can't guarantee that they're going to win, but you know you're going to be in the game. So we'll see where it goes. I'm happy, always happy when Gator guys do well when they go moving up. And I'm telling you right now, Jonathan India is the next Zanino. He's the next guy.
Well, I'll tell you who was there just a year ago, 2 years ago, and is Peter Alonso.
How about Preston Tucker? There's several guys that can hit.
Peter Alonso is flat out tearing it up. he has gone to becoming the Mets' #1 prospect, and now he's top 10 prospects in baseball. And he's overshadowed by his teammate up there in Binghamton, that lefty,
Guy named Tebow?
that Tebow guy.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember.
The better prospect is Peter Alonso.
but Peter Alonso is just flat out.
If you're going to put money on somebody, put plenty of money on Peter Alonso. But you know, all those guys, it's really interesting.
Preston Wilson, Preston Tucker.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, Preston Wilson with the ball. He retired a few years.
It's interesting that while Florida is deemed a pitcher's university, and certainly it is, there are more prospects who right now are playing who are hitters than pitchers.
And
We got to go.
Real quick on that, and then we can get back to other things, and we'll close it out. We'll close this session on the Gators. The softball team had the series in Columbia, Missouri.
Hey, we got to cover that later. That's got to be more. We got to come back for that. We'll pick it up on the other side. All right,
care.
we'll see you in a minute.
All right.